Hello everyone, and welcome back to DataBreach. Today, I have prepared 5 files from the SCP Foundation. These files will vary in content. They are also top secret, containing sensitive information, some of which could be harmful to your well-being, especially if the Foundation realizes what we are up to. So let's just hope they don't find out. Don't worry, I won't tell if you won't. Our first file is on SCP-5364. Which is a quirky contraption. It is a 17mm film projector that is currently orbiting around Pluto, and its only function is to broadcast messages to one location, a single home, in the neighborhood of Bella Vista, Pennsylvania, on 3 distinct days, February 14th, April 29th, and August 4th. The item that receives these broadcasts, dubbed as SCP-5364-1, is a 1959 Philco black and white television that is sitting in the residence, which was purchased by the Foundation and established as Provisional Site 322. Upon purchasing the residence, Foundation members retrieved a few items from the home. A single gold wedding band with a stamp reading G+M 1948 on the interior, an empty cigar box with the monogram GMJ printed on the outer leather, and a frame photograph of a man around 20 years of age in an American Air Force World War II uniform. Any and all research into the previous owners has yielded no conclusive information. There have been several recovered transmissions, all of which tell a story of love and loss. I am now going to read you the main transmissions that led up to the neutralization of SCP-5364. February 14th, 2003. The word forever is displayed on the screen, followed by the image of a bouquet of roses. April 29th has a common message saying happy anniversary, my love. However, in 2008, the broadcast displayed said 60 years. And then in 2012, the broadcast said, I wish we could have grown old together. August 4th also has a reoccurring message, simply reading, Happy Birthday, followed by a video of unidentified individuals blowing out candles on a birthday cake. On August 4th, 1998, the recovered broadcast was a sample of More, played by Frank Sinatra, over a message containing its lyrics. More than the greatest love the world has known, this is the love I give to you alone. More than the simple words I try to say, I only live to love you more each day. On December 14th, 2015, at 6:08 p.m., we received the last transmission from SCP-5364. And all it said was, see you soon, Martha. The Foundation has found that the death records of an Alzheimer's patient named Martha Gina matched the timing of the last broadcast. She had passed away on the same day at 6:03 p.m. Because of these events, another investigation on SCP-5346 was launched. And on February 16th, 2016, they found that now there is a second smaller projector secured to the right side of SCP-5364. Our next file is on SCP-2652, which is a very strange and bewildering anomaly that displays a love and enjoyment for video games. SCP-2652 was discovered by South Korean customs officials at Incheon International Airport. It was sealed inside a crate on an air freighter arriving from San Francisco, shipped by Ancients International, which is believed to be a front group associated with a redacted source. SCP-2652 is classified as safe and described as a man-made humanoid organism with genetic similarities to Homo sapiens, and it has noticeably undergone extreme genetic, cybernetic, and surgical alterations. The body of SCP-2562 is cylindrical, with no legs or head, and seems to be comparable to a non-anomalous human torso. It has a pelvis located at the lower end, with a spinal cord leading up to the brain, which is situated at the upper end, with the digestive, respiratory, and pulmonary organs located in between. It is noted that SCP-2562 has only two major orifices. The one on top resembles a mouth, without teeth or a tongue, while the one on the bottom is for all excretory functions. It is also noted that due to its skin tone, it is presumed to be genetically driven from a Caucasian male. Now here comes the really strange part. SCP-2562 has 7 pairs of arms, all branching out from separate pairs of shoulders along the spine. There are also panels installed in the front between each pair of arms, containing connectors for input cables, like the ones that can be used with game consoles, televisions, or similar devices. CT scans have shown that the connectors are attached to the nerves that are interwoven into the spinal cord, connecting to the brain. It is believed that these connections provide SCP-2562 with sensory information, much like eyes and ears do for non-anomalous humans. When the output cables of a video game console are attached to one of the panels on SCP-2562, and a controller is placed in the matching pair of hands, in almost all circumstances, it will demonstrate the capability of playing a game to a degree of proficiency beyond human capability. And although SCP-2562 possesses no sexual organs, the nerves attached to its sensory ports are also linked to parts of the brain that control pleasure. Because of this, upon receiving a desirable outcome in a game, SCP-2562 will experience sensations comparable to an orgasm. The containment and care of SCP-2562 is very detailed, with it being kept in a hospital bed and fed 3 times a day with a nutrient paste providing 2,500 kilocalories, and given an appropriate regimen of vitamins and supplements for an adult male. A bedpan or relief tube is also to be provided for extracting waste. SCP-2562 is to also undergo regular bathing, rotation, and massage to prevent any bed sores, and is to receive medical screenings and treatment as necessary. The sensory ports are also to be cleaned and examined regularly before and after any testing, and may be repaired or replaced as deemed necessary. One last thing to note is that in a marketing email, it seems that SCP-2562 might be helping out different companies by testing video games. The next file is on an anomaly of the Foundation's own making. SCP-4999 falls into the Keter classification and is responsible for at least 12 containment breaches and has assisted in the suicides of no less than 6 personnel. SCP-4999 is a phantasmic entity that was once personnel D-Class 10,000, known in life as Gordon. He was convicted of second-degree murder in 1981 after grabbing a kitchen knife and stabbing his wife 24 times after a heated argument. Originally, SCP-4999 was believed to be inactive, but quickly became aggressive once it realized where it was, and has since breached containment several times, accessing data terminals and learning about numerous other anomalous entities along with the identities of personnel within the site. D-10,000 was a test subject of 25 separate controlled experiments involving various anomalous entities, until one day, during an experiment with a redacted SCP, he perished. He was then taken to a waste disposal refinery for processing. However, 3 months after his disposal, personnel reported anomalous activities within the site, including unexplained noises, drops in temperature, missing items, shadows running out of view, feelings of dread, and of course, a bloody figure in a D-class jumpsuit appearing in mirrors and reflective surfaces. Only some of these were taken into account, while most were ignored, being considered incidents directly in relation to the mental stress of working for the Foundation. SCP-4973 is contained within an incorporeal entity vacuum chamber, constantly monitored by members of the MTF MU-13, aptly referred to as the Ghostbusters. Directly outside of the chamber are 4 Harrington Hollow neutralizer wards, preventing any escapes. But, with how many breaches there have been, I'd say they aren't always effective. In an interview between a Dr. Casper and SCP-4973, it is shown that he knows his name is Gordon and acknowledges that he is no longer human, also stating that Foundation will keep him locked up because of all the sensitive information that he now knows. After that, we learned that with the data terminals, all he had to do was wave his hand over them and he was granted access. The confusing thing about this interview is that when he was asked about his attempts to breach containment of other dangerous anomalies, he had no idea what they were talking about, then started laughing, stating that the site doesn't even know what's going on right under their noses. Up next, we have an anomaly that is rarely documented and hard to understand. However, the circumstances for its appearance and the actions that follow are always similar. SCP-4999 has a Keter classification with an Equi-disruption class and a Notice risk class. It is a humanoid entity with a varied appearance. However, it is always noted to be wearing dark, formal wear and manifesting in only specific circumstances. SCP-4999 will only appear in the presence of someone who is alone, conscious, and within 20 minutes of death. It will not appear if the individual is unconscious in any way or is being monitored by or in the company of anyone else. And due to the fact that manifestations only appear to lone individuals about to die, this entity is considered self-contained. All individuals who came in contact with SCP-4999 seem to share common attributes, and the manifestation is more likely to happen if the individual meets one or more of these requirements. If they live alone, are non-religious, if they are impoverished or homeless, if they have a history of mental illness, if they are a military veteran, if they have never been convicted of a violent crime or have no criminal record, they have no current surviving family, are unmarried or lacking a significant other, they have little to no social standing within their community, they have no record of professional or personal accomplishments, or they have few to no mutually beneficial interpersonal relationships. It is also noted that manifestations are more likely to happen if the individual is rendered nondescript, anonymous, neglected, or otherwise unremarkable or insignificant by society standards. When SCP-4999 manifests, it will sit adjacent to the subject, and once it is situated, it will remove a pack of cigarettes from its left inside jacket pocket and offer one to the subject. If the subject accepts, SCP-4999 will place the cigarette between the subject's lips, remove one for itself, and then light them both. If the subject declines, then SCP-4999 will light and smoke one instead. Regardless of which answer is received, SCP-4999 will make physical contact with the subject, typically by holding their hand, placing a hand atop theirs, or resting a hand on their shoulder. From there, SCP-4999 will remain with the subject, silent and unmoving, until they have passed away, at which time it will disappear, and the only proof of its presence will be the subject's cigarette, if they took one. It is believed that SCP SCP-4999 has been around for a very long time, with artistic depictions of a figure with similar behaviors and physical appearance, some of which are thousands of years old. SCP-4999 has been there for the deaths of many lonely, broken, beaten, and damned souls. And while its reasons and motivations are unknown, it seems to always be there, so no one dies alone. Our final file is on an anomaly that really makes you rethink going to the amusement park. While on one hand, you might have a fun time, but on the other, you might find yourself trapped for months on one ride. SCP-112 is a Euclid-class anomaly that is currently contained within an abandoned amusement park and is the only anomaly on site. There are 12 armed guards watching over the site at all times to prevent any civilian interference. And it is worth noting that any tests regarding SCP-112 are only to be conducted with a portable toilet nearby, as well as a small table with basic food and drink items. So, we have 12 guards and one site reserved for just one anomaly. SCP-112 is a steel, sit-down roller coaster. Once known as the Blue Steel Surfer, built sometime in the 1900s as the crown jewel of a redacted amusement park, this anomaly showed its effects during test rides, which caused extremely negative experiences for staff. And once these tests became public knowledge, it caused the parent company of the park to go bankrupt, and the park to be abandoned. The park was abandoned for years following the shutdown, until a local gang broke in and reactivated all of the rides, including SCP-112. When the police came to arrest the gang, they were just getting off of SCP-112. The actions from the gang upon leaving SCP-112 have been redacted, but whatever it might have been, it attracted local media attention, which caused the Foundation to suspect anomalous activities and purchase the park. SCP-112 is a normal coaster for the most part, and when it starts up, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But when it reaches its initial drop, it vanishes, and will reappear after 3 minutes, 3 meters behind its starting point. Now, the time to observers is 3 minutes. However, the time for any subject riding can vary drastically, from minutes to months. And all subjects who ride SCP-112 seem to have different experiences in relation to what the coaster includes, like loops, inclines, and other variations to the track. However, the world around them seems to still be the same. Upon exiting the ride, subjects display feelings of illness and confusion. The range of these feelings are determined by the time spent on SCP-112. Tests have proven that no matter how long a subject is actually on SCP-112, when the ride is over, it's only truly been a few minutes. In one test, Subject D-7556 got off SCP-112, ran towards the table with consumables, and proceeded to consume everything, including the wrappers. And after listening to what D-7556 was muttering, it seems the ride time was roughly 5 months, with D-7556 experiencing 5 months worth of malnutrition and exhaustion, even though no physical evidence had been found. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the selection of files we were able to go through. The difference between all of these anomalies was astounding, and I did enjoy the tales they told. Feel free to tell me what you thought about these anomalies in the comments below. And if you have any specific files you would like me to look into, please put them there as well. I do enjoy doing this, and I can't wait to see what files the next data breach will bring out. If you enjoy what I do here, don't forget to subscribe, so you know when the next audio log comes out. And until then, wherever each and every one of you are, stay safe and stay curious.